Alright, hello everybody, let's play Heart of the Woods again. Like it is. Well, I'm super excited, so that's why all the extra streams. Well, give me a second to mute the phone, I guess. I've been working working today, so I forgot. Where is it even? Okay. Well, I guess I can't move to the right spot. But I did too, so that's fine. One hello in the chat. Thank you for watching. So yeah, in the last few sessions, like a lot of plot twists, I guess, and I kinda got the feeling that it's going to be a little bit of bummers for Maddie. Alright. The only difference this morning is that Tara's still asleep. It's the first time I have woken up before her since we started sleeping together. I'm glad she is still sleeping. I can tell she needs it. I slip out of bed and dress silently. My next move should be heading to the shop. Sticking to routine is what's kept Evelyn's off our backs. For now. The instant I start thinking about Evelyn again, I'm hit by a powerful urge to climb back into bed and wrap my arms around Tara. Hold her for a little longer. I don't. She needs her rest, and there's still some time before she leaves. Somehow, thinking about that makes me feel even worse. I try to push the thoughts away, but her voice does that for me.
Oh shit, what time is it?
She's sitting up in bed and rubbing at her eyes. She's still wearing her clothes from the night before, or at least the top half. But her sitting up doesn't mean she's actually awake.
It's still early. You can rest more.
No, it's fine. I got this.
Oh, the moon is even bigger on the shirt, so that is a pretty quick progress, I guess.
I'm just going to go spend some time in the shop so nobody comes to check in on us later today. Get some sleep. I'll be back soon.
You sure?
I move back to the bed and kiss her forehead before lowering her onto her pillow.
I'm sure. I'll wake you up when I'm back.
Okay, cool. Thanks, babe.
Okay, that's quick. With the babes.
I mean, thanks.
Okay, I guess she realized it too. Dead silence.
I know what you meant.
I'm out the door before either of us can say a word. I don't want to think about that right now. I just need to get to the shop. Oh, and they were also like supposed to not to be like a couple, but just like one night affair. So that makes the babe thing even more awkward, I guess. I'm so focused on that, I almost slam into Evelyn the second I step outside.
No need to rush, dear.
My brain jumps to panic mode. Why is she here? She's never here in the morning. Did she come for us? The door isn't shut all the way. I could run back inside, grab Tara, get out. I know deep down that it's pointless to try. If she wanted us dead, we'd be dead. I don't know why she's sparing us, but if she changes her mind, we won't get the warning.
What do you want?
Her mouth curls into a frown.
Am I not supposed to take an interest in my daughter's life?
It depends on what is interest. Like slamming people into walls? Well, ideally not.
I thought you had outgrown that phase.
But you too. I grit my teeth. The sight of Tara's body being flung into the wall. Maddie's room in the cabin, hauntingly empty. She doesn't have the right to even pretend to be my mother.
I'm not your daughter.
Morgan!
I flinch as she raises her voice. I hate letting her get a rise out of me, but there's too many memories making me afraid of that sound. She just sighs and her features sink. She almost looks visibly hurt. Only almost. There's still something inhuman about her expression, something I have never been able to understand.
You can be so cruel sometimes.
You too.
You weren't always. When you were young, you were the sweetest thing. You would never imagine the things you say to me so casually now.
I clench my fist. How to keep it together? My nails push slightly against the skin of my palm. As always, my fingers freeze before they draw blood.
I'm going to work.
My voice comes out as a rasp, and I clench at the weakness of it. She puts her hand on my shoulder as I try to walk past.
Work can wait, dear. I'm sure your customers will understand. I have something to show you. I thought since you were so desperate to see in my office, I could give you a little glimpse of what I keep in there.
Evelyn drops her hand, her lips twisting into a sickeningly sweet smile. Well, let's hope it's not like Lovecraftian monsters or something.
If you're not interested, however, I'm sure your American friend would be eager to join me.
Yeah, she likes spooky things. My blood freezes. I want to hit her. I want to scream at her. I'm not sure if it's fear or the curse she's placed on me that keeps me rooted to the spot. I can't even look up at her. She shows she's won, as she always has. I can feel her eyes on me as she waits for me to follow her. The moment passes and she makes a sound of affirmation. She turns away.
Now come with me, dear.
I figure out where we are heading after a couple minutes of walking. The forest. If she is taking me in there, then This could be it.
Ah, here we are.
I look back to the house for what I hope isn't the last time. What's going to happen if Tara wakes up and can't find me? What if she never sees me again?
Tara.
I mutter her name under my breath. Some dumb, childish part of me hopes that she heard it somehow. It's better that she's not here, but I still wish she was.
What was that, dear?
Nothing.
I ought to thank your friend. She's made motivating you so much easier. It's nice to see you caring about someone other than yourself for once. I'd almost think you were finally growing up, if you weren't so stubbornly holding on to your teenage rebelliousness.
I don't say anything. I keep my face blank. 1, 2, breathing. She pays me no mind. We walk into the forest, past the initial tree line. Into its depths, at least I know where we are. So probably they are like looking for the corpse. I would imagine so. Or I thought I did. As we keep on walking, I realize that I don't know where we are at all. But didn't they say that the corpse, like Evelyn, destroyed it? So I'm not sure, like. But I would imagine that is though, like why they are there. Like as a warning. Like that's why she would show it. I don't recognize any of this. The trees are different. These aren't the ones I know. They aren't even the ones I saw when we started walking. I've walked this path dozens of times. There's no way I'm making a mistake. The branches blot out, and the sun even more than usual, and the shadows seem to blend around Evelyn. I can hear the creaking of old wood in the darkness. It almost sounds like the trees are moving. Or they can do that, I guess. I had never seen the forest behave like this. I had never seen anything behave like this. As we walk, Evelyn keeps turning her head to glance at me, probably trying to see how scared I am. I don't let my expression waver. I don't let her in. She won't win this one. The things around me don't even look like trees anymore. They are too gnarled and rotten. They twist into shapes that should be impossible. They form walls around us as we walk, pushing us forward. I can't help drawing in on myself. It's like the whole forest is closing around us. It's getting harder to breathe. I feel like I'm about to be crushed by the forest itself. And just when I think I can't take it anymore, we break into a clearing. Oh, they are here. Why? And in the center of the clearing is a beautiful, radiant tree. But the forest is basically, I guess, trying to push them away. I think. It's actually green. Real, brilliant green needles. The trunk is so thick and sturdy that the bark makes it look armor-plated. The rich scent of pine fills the air. The shadows around us are kept at bay by a shimmering golden light. I can't breathe again. Crisp, clear air fills my lungs. The awful sensations of the twisted forest are all but forgotten. I reach out my hand to it, but only reach. Something inside me tells me that I'm not supposed to touch it. That I'm not even supposed to be here.
What is this?
It is a tree. She ignores me, or at least I think she does. I don't turn around to look at her. I'm too transfixed by the tree ahead of me. I don't know how long I stand there staring, but after some time I notice the air around me change. My limbs begin to numb almost immediately. When I look back at Evelyn, she's glowing, an oily shimmer all over her body. And she's smiling at me, smiling.
You were so peaceful, so calm. I can't remember another time when you were so relaxed.
Probably because of you.
I hate to interrupt it. Really, I do. But I only have so much time to spend here. Do you understand?
She starts walking towards me. That's when I see the knife in her hand. Oh. I guess this is a Yandere game now. I try to open my mouth to speak. I try to move my feet away from her. I'm sure there is demand for Yandere mamas. Like you could make like a game like that and put it on Steam, and I'm sure it would sell. Like Yandere mom dating simulator. I can't. Completely still, impulse crashes against nature. My heart hammers in my chest. Every muscle in my body is frozen. I can't even shake.
This forest spirit. It's so young. As small as it is, the power within it is enough to melt the ice in this place, to draw you in.
She has never been here though, like you brought her here.
You love it so much, even though you'd only just met it moments ago.
Okay. A rush of understanding fills me. The warmth, the peace in this place. But I don't understand though. Like what is she trying to do? A haven from the cold. And we are the intruders. Hello.
I always knew you were part of this forest. Much more than any of the others. This confirms that.
Confirms what? She grabs my hand and holds it up, examining my palm, running her fingers over its creases, as if it's like nothing she's ever seen before. But by the way, because of the knife and everything, like, I can't guarantee that this won't be bloody. Hopefully it won't.
I thought it would make you dangerous. It didn't.
Oh, that's why the knife, I guess.
It made you weaker.
Hopefully that's why the knife. She presses the blade to my hand. My mind screams at my body, desperately trying to get my muscles to respond.
Your one chance at success, of escape. And you're weakened by it.
She laughs to herself, like she knows a joke that I'm not in on. With a swift motion, she drags the knife against my palm. I stare at her as blood trickles and pools from the open gas. Well, I guess blood warning.
Since you loved it so much, I wonder how it will feel for you to be the one to kill it.
My strings are cut in that moment, and I fall over. The rush of sensations rush over me all at once. The pain, the cold. I scream out, clutching my palm. I turn and try to crawl immediately, my instincts shouting at me as I fold my knees over and over. Get up, run, run. But it's too late. Evelyn grabs my wrist so hard, I feel like the bones are about to break. She swings me around and presses my bloody palm into the forest spirit. Before I can rip my hand away, I feel a voice bursting forth from within. Pain rips forth from my chest. The more I try to hold the words back, I cover my mouth with my hands and stumble back in horror. But it's too late. An unexplainable sound fills the air, a hideous groaning. I know what it is. I do. I don't want to admit it to myself though. It's the spirit. Blackness moves up, the shining green needles. The calming aura disappears completely, and it's replaced by something else. Pain. It's pain. I fall to my knees as the trunk begins to twist in itself. Bits of bark fall into the snow. The rotting blackness creeps up from its roots, and the unsteady trunk begins to sway. The needles wither and die. My head is filled with its suffering. I hear a crackling, then a black tar seeps out from the bark, smelling of death. It bursts into flames.
No! 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 No!
I try to hold my mouth closed. Incantations leave my throat, in a voice that's mine, but yet isn't. Evelyn's standing farther back now, watching the scene before her. Her face is contorted into a terrifying grin. She's enjoying this. The crackling grows louder. My breath catches in my chest, and out of the corner of my eye, I see Evelyn, hand outstretched.
No! Evelyn, don't! Stop!
With a crack louder than thunder, the spirit's trunk splits in two. A beat of silence follows. And then I hear the screams. It comes from all around me, something crying out, filling the woods. A shrieking, earth-shattering wail. My heart breaks. It's not something in the forest. It is the forest. Somehow the trees around me are screaming in pain. I'm screaming now. I can barely hear myself through the shrieking. Vortex around me. I can't look. I bow my head, still screaming as the fire burns. Even the fire feels wrong. It's cold, freezing. Fire blooms around the tree, shooting high above the tree line. In one giant, blinding burst, the tree is gone. All that's left is a circle of scorched earth. The burn is more intense than anything I have ever seen. It looks like it stretches down forever. Somewhere in my heart, I know nothing will ever grow here again. The screams start to fade. I slowly take my hands from my ears.
Thank you for being such a help, dear. Really.
Really?
You're a monster.
How funny. Your mother said the exact same thing. You really do take after her.
I can't gather my thoughts enough to respond. The screams are still echoing in my mind.
Never forget this day, child. In the brief time you have left, I want you to know for certain that you don't stand a chance at changing your fate. You never have. None of you ever had. And when the time comes for you to serve as my vessel, I'll make sure the next one won't either.
She reaches out toward me and I prepare for the worst. But all she does is pat my head and ruffle my hair.
You can find your own way home, I assume. I know how much you love these woods.
Mwahahaha. She gives another chuckle as she turns and walks away, heading back into the shadowy trees. She disappears into the darkness. All that's left is me and the disgusting burnt circle. My mind is blank, numb with shock. Quietly, slowly, one thought begins to take form. There's nothing we can do or she'll pay for this. So probably she'll have to pay for this. Like, if there's nothing we can do, then it's game over. But let's save just in case. No matter what it takes. The other one is, we don't stand a chance against power like that. No, surely we'll find a way. She's tried to break me for years, over and over again. I never let her, and I'm not going to let her do it now. That's basically what she's hoping, that we'll give up. I don't care how powerful she is. I don't care what she did to Maddie. She's going to pay. And Tara and I are going to make sure of it. We'll destroy her, once and for all. We'll leave this place behind for good, together. And nothing's going to stop us. I open the front door and its weight drags me forward as I stumble inside. I prop myself up on the knob, trying to catch my breath. I can't. Tara must have heard the door because her footsteps come booming down the stairs. She doesn't fall. I'm surprised, given that the last 5 times she ended up slamming into the wall. I keep telling her to be careful. This time, I'm glad she isn't. Closing the door behind me, I finally manage to enter the kitchen as she rounds the corner.
Holy shit, you're okay. I thought when you didn't come home,
I'm okay. Don't worry. It wasn't anything.
It sure wasn't just like, oh, a little like barbecue, I guess. Nothing serious. I can't seem to finish my sentence. My head is swimming. I stumble again, ready to collapse to the floor.
Let's go upstairs. You need some rest. Come on.
Her voice is warm, quiet, and reassuring. I can't believe it belongs to the same girl that spends her days yelling about the Loch Ness Monster. But it's what I need right now.
Thank you, Tara.
Hey, that's what I'm here for. We're the dream team, remember?
Well, I guess they are going with that team name them. She flashes me a now very familiar white-mouthed, goofy grin. I can tell she's trying to distract me from the fear and worry I can see in in her eyes. She's never been hard to read, but by now she's an open book. But at least she's trying. That counts.
Come on, let's get up there.
Tara holds my arm to steady me as we go up the stairs. I hate being like this. I'm not supposed to be weak. I can't be weak. I ignore the shaking in my legs and force myself to stand on my own. Even if I'm just walking to the bed to sit down, it helps.
You just sit here for a minute and relax, okay? I'll go make some coffee or something.
Well, don't burn the kitchen. I've seen enough fire for today.
I thought you didn't even know how to make coffee.
That's where the or something comes in.
It takes me a second to realize that I'm laughing. Everything's gone wrong, but I'm laughing. Every time I start to lose hope, she makes me laugh. Oh, by the way, I just realized that the spirit of the forest is what, resurrected Abigail and Maddie. And the spirit of the forest is what Maddie was counting on, resurrecting her or whatever. But now since the spirit is gone, she will realize that there is no way back. She's smiling again. It's genuine this time.
I guess I'll take the risk. Thank you, Tara.
I'm not good with words. I want to kiss her to thank her genuinely. It's not the right time. I kiss her cheek instead. She doesn't say anything, just turns and heads for the kitchen. Maybe that was a mistake, but I don't think it was. A whirlpool of panic hits my brain the instant she leaves. It threatens to overcome me, crossing over my thoughts and pulling me deeper into its abyss. My breathing runs ragged. I close my eyes, counting to 100, as I have done so many times before. But it's not enough. The forest, Maddie, Evelyn, Tara. I try to raise my head above the water. I can't do this. After everything, with Maddie, with Evelyn, Tara shouldn't have to deal with my problems too. And neither of us has time to deal with all the feelings I know we are not talking about. If I'm a bigger part of the big picture than Maddie, I know what that's going to lead to. I'll hold it in. I'll be fine. I shake my head. It's so much harder to lie to myself than it used to be. Those heavy footsteps save me from the mess in my head. Tara slips back into the room with 2 mugs of what I think is supposed to be coffee. The smell of coffee always makes me feel calm, but right now it just makes me feel sick. No, I guess he poached the coffee.
Here we go. If the caffeine in this doesn't wake you up, then at least the taste will.
Probably waking up isn't the issue.
As long as it doesn't kill me.
Haha.
No promises.
I bring the mug to my lips and taste it carefully. It's not bad, or I'm just desperate. Either way, I keep drinking it.
So, what happened out there? Did she hurt you?
Yeah, and then we did barbecue together and some fancy chanting and all the good stuff.
Not really. She just went on about how I can't do anything to her. It wasn't anything serious.
Yeah, what is serious then?
Bullshit.
I want to tell her not to worry, but I can't. Evelyn's laughter rattles around in my head the second I open my mouth. I place the already empty mug of coffee on my desk. I hear Tara's sharp intake of breath behind me, and I spin around, my heart racing. Fear and worry reflect in her eyes as her gaze flits between my face and my hand. I look down at my own palm, still bleeding gently. It drops now that I'm looking at it. With everything that happened, I forgot about it. Tara reaches forward and holds my hand between her own, applying a gentle pressure to it. Her concern is more than I can handle. I can't lie to her.
I'm sorry, Tara. We've already got so much to worry about. I didn't want to give you more.
I want to look out for you, Morgan. I can take it.
The two of us sit silently for what feels like an eternity. Every sentence I try to form falls apart the moment I open my mouth. The screaming echoes in my head. But eventually, I do it.
And then I couldn't stop. I was killing it.
Tara rubs my hands, staying quiet as I continue talking. I feel my eyes stinging the more I speak, but I have to hold it together.
It was burning. It was burning and dying. It was like the entire forest felt it. I couldn't stop the magic no matter what I did. And after everything was said and done, Evelyn, she...
I feel tightness in my chest. I had never spoken like this before to anyone, not even to Celadura.
She told me my real mother was just like me.
I can't bring myself to continue. Voicing the implications out loud would make them more real than they already are. My real mother is gone, and whatever similarities we bore mean nothing now. All that matters is that she lost.
Shit, Morgan,
The stinging's getting worse.
She probably doesn't know how much we know. If she's trying to scare you, that means she's really scared of us. Her pulling weird shit in the forest isn't gonna change anything.
She can't understand. How do I tell her about the screams of the forest, that black fire?
The trees were...
I cut myself off. What am I doing? I already told myself I wasn't going to let this get to me. And here I am, already about to lose it. I have to keep it together.
You're right. Sorry. I shouldn't have made such a big deal out of it.
No, you tried to make no deal out of it.
Hey, that's not what I meant. I want to hear what you have to say.
She sits down next to me. The stinging in my eyes isn't going away, no matter how many times I try to blink it back.
You know I'm not the best at, saying stuff. Or knowing how to say stuff.
They have that going for both of them, I guess.
Isn't that your job?
Yeah, but do I ever look like I know what I'm doing?
She holds my hand as I chuckle.
You've got a point. But I'm okay, I promise. It was just some cheap scare tactic.
I don't know, that was pretty, not cheap.
I wouldn't let something like that beat me. Like you said, this is just a sign that we're on the right track. Just because everyone else before us failed, that doesn't mean that...
Morgan.
Huh?
You're crying.
Yep, she is.
What? No, I'm not.
Inch by inch, I reach up and touch my cheek. It's wet. I can't be crying. My eyes are still stinging. I've been holding it back.
It's okay. You can cry.
I told you, I'm not.
My voice cuts off as I let out a choked sob.
I'm not.
Tears flow down my face for the first time in years. Each one burns my skin like a tiny, painful reminder of how pathetic I'm being. I desperately try to wipe the tears away, even though I know it's pointless. They just keep coming. I squeeze my eyes shut instead in hopes that it will somehow force the tears back in. And then, once again, I feel Tara's arm around me. She squeezes me so hard that I start thinking she's trying to bring the tears out of me.
Let it out. You know I've got you.
I let it out. I throw my arms around her and rest my head against my shoulder. All I can do is hope that the fabric muffles my sobs. She rubs my back slowly and presses her lips to my forehead. I already feel like I'm burning inside, but her warmth is different, soothing. My whole body shakes against Tara. She doesn't flinch. She doesn't say anything. She just holds me close. This isn't the girl I spent years watching yell about monsters on the internet. This isn't even the girl that stepped off the train in a few weeks ago. Something about being here changed her. As I cling to her for dear life, I realized that it changed me too. I can feel my tears start to slow when that thought crosses my mind. I'm finally able to catch my breath. Tara's grip on me loosens as I stop shaking. When she takes her lips off my forehead, I have to fight the urge to pull her back down. I pull away and sit up instead. It's nice to be able to wipe my cheeks and actually have them stay dry. Looking at her now, I can see that Tara's face is stained with tears too. It's my fault.
I'm sorry.
Hey, it's cool. I don't think anyone on Earth or anywhere else would say you don't deserve a minute to get it all out there.
If you say so.
For what it's worth, I think you stand a way better chance than any of the people that came before you. After all, you've got one thing they don't.
Guns. Probably not.
What's that?
She breaks into another massive grin that the tear streaks on her face can't hope to tarnish. I know that she's going to say before she even brings out the finger guns.
Me, obviously.
I thought so. I start to chuckle before bursting into laughter. Real, full laughter. Every now and then, a sob slips in. I don't mind as much anymore. As always, she knew how to make me feel better.
My incredibly humble savior.
Incredibly humble indeed.
Hey, if I can't stay on brand even under the threat of death, I don't deserve to be popular.
Now let's hope being on YouTube isn't like that dangerous.
I love that about you.
I clamp my mouth shut the instant the words leave it. I don't know where that came from. Tara's expression makes it clear she doesn't either.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
We look away from each other. I do my best to focus on anything in the room that will hold my attention. Yeah, look, there is a UFO on the wall.
Hey, can I say something?
When I look back up at her, I can see that her entire face is bright red.
As much as I love to joke, I'm 100% serious about you having something that they didn't have. More than one thing, actually.
What are you talking about?
I mean, you're really brave. Like, the bravest person I've ever met. You're smart, too. A hell of a lot smarter than I am. You're...
She crunches up her face in that cute way she always does when she's trying to figure out what to say next, which means I have seen a lot of it.
You're all the things that I act like I am. You're smart, you're brave, you're strong, you're not afraid to fight back against bullshit, you're beautiful, you're capable. You've been through a ton of bad shit all your life, and you're still fighting, even against things nobody else out there believes. I spend nearly every day of my life thinking about the strangest things in the world, and I still couldn't have imagined someone like you really existing.
If I hadn't watched her ramble for years, then I'm sure that by now she'd be incomprehensible. But I can hear every word, and I can feel my heart beating faster with each one.
And you're just really awesome and fun to be around, and being here with you is one of the best things that's ever happened to me, and I don't want this to end, and I'm...
But that is more like it.
You're in love with me.
So that's one way to put it, I guess.
I'm in love with you!
Oh, golly gee. Or something. Wait, did I just? And we both sit in stunned silence. I try to tell myself that I don't know where that came from. Another lie. I had known for a while now, just like I know that I...
Look, I'm really sorry. I know we agreed from the start that we wouldn't catch feelings. I swear I've never had this happen before.
She's a mess. But she's a mess I'm in love with.
I get if you're upset, and I'm sorry for bringing this up now while we've still got this other shit going on. And when this is over, I can just leave, and I won't make a big deal about any of it, and we can just go back to living our own separate lives.
I grab her cheeks and pull her face toward mine before she even realizes I have moved. I bring our lips together hard and kiss her in a way I never have before. I don't know how to describe it. I just know it's something new. I have kissed plenty of times, but this isn't like any of those. It isn't like any kiss I have ever had with anyone. It's healing. It's grounding. It's incredible. It only takes a second before she kisses back hard. She grabs me again, and I can feel her hands moving along the length of my body. It's like she's looking for handholds. I realize in the back of my mind that this is the first time I have had a kiss this deep without one of us putting the tongue in the other one's mouth. I love if I didn't have more important things to do with my mouth. We do have to stop for breath eventually. All we do is blow hot air into each other's faces for a split second before coming back together. This is too good to let it end so soon. One of us is crying. It had better not be me. It's both, I guess. We break to gasp for air.
I love you too, obviously.
Tara plants smaller kisses on my bottom lip as I speak.
Yeah, I kinda figured.
Saying it out loud feels incredible. It's like dropping weights I have been carrying for miles. I can feel everything Evelyn took from me coming back in force.
I guess I really do have you after all.
With an air of finality, we break apart but remain close. Tara presses her forehead to mine and nuzzles my nose.
I'm not going to let her hurt you. I promise.
I know.
We're gonna beat this thing, Morgan. We're gonna kick Evelyn's ass, and we're gonna save my best friend.
Not sure about that when the forest spirit is gone too.
And when we leave the shitty village behind for good, I want you to come with us.
Yeah, of course.
I'm still not able to match her level of confidence. I love her, but that doesn't magically guarantee things will be okay. I'll keep trying to get there, though.
So, what does this make us?
Gay?
What do you mean?
Are we, like, dating? Or...
She rubs the back of her neck and smiles awkwardly.
I mean, it's been a while since I've done something like this, and this isn't exactly a normal dating scenario.
I know what she's trying to say. You don't know what's around the corner yet.
I don't know. Not that it's anything against you, of course. I love you a lot. I don't doubt that for a second. But I don't know if I can put a name on that love right now. Not with everything else we're dealing with.
But the lobby is burning like a forest spirit that you set ablaze.
And here I always thought fighting an ancient evil monster would be the perfect setting for asking someone out.
She doesn't sound mad. That's a good sign.
Maybe, if everything turns out okay, we could give it a shot. Putting a name on it, I mean.
She cranes her neck up towards me and kisses my cheek.
Saving it for after we kick some ass, huh? I can dig it. So, what does that make us? For right now, I mean.
Can we just be people who love each other? Stay friends the way we are right now, but in love.
Friends with benefits, I guess.
Yeah, I think I can do that. I do have one question, though.
Shoot.
Can we kiss more often now?
That works for me.
I already know she's about to kiss me, but I beat her there. My lips meet hers on the way up. Her squeak of surprise melts away as we hold each other. I'm still afraid, I'm still uncertain, but this helps. She helps. Thank you, Tara, for everything. But now comes the spicy part, I guess. But that was kinda spicy too. It's been a weird morning. Usually when I get up, Abigail's awake and ready to go. And usually she has been for several hours. This morning though, I woke to find her dozing nearby, long past when she'd normally be up. She complained about having a headache, so we decided to take a walk through the forest to clear her head. So far it seems to have had the opposite effect though, and we have been walking in uncomfortable silence. It's been maybe an hour or so when we first noticed the buzzing. At first it was very faint, like the sound of the wind or the rustling trees, but then it started to get louder and louder.
Fairies!
It's the first word she said in ages. She pulls me closer to her as the buzzing gets closer. Sure enough, the source of the noise soon comes into view. Dozens of fairies, maybe even as many as 100, flutter past overhead. They form a cloud rushing through the forest, nimbly weaving over and under the branches. When I first saw fairies back in the clearing, their movements were graceful and delicate, but now they are frenetic and urgent. The swarm travels right towards us, though they don't seem to notice or care about us at all. The buzzing has grown to an almost ear-splitting level, and I realized it comes from their wings. Like bees, their tiny wings beat rapidly to keep them up. They are a blur against the fairies' snowy-looking bodies. Suddenly, several of the fairies split off from the rest and dive toward us. I fling up my hands to protect myself, but they come to a halt overhead. This is my first chance to get a good look at them. The bodies are smooth and pale blue with the whitest tint. Their eyes are beady and small, looking more like tiny flecks of obsidian than anything with sight. They are pretty human looking though. They have like tiny tail instead of legs. At first it looks like they are wearing gowns, but then I realized that what looks like clothes are part of their body. Colorful plumage helps make each fairy distinct from one another. Rather than legs, their bodies taper off into a point, like little ballerinas. Like snowflakes, no two look the same. One of them turns a somersault while the others hover anxiously.
Our queen! Is that you? Have you returned?
The voices are all identical, squeaky and raspy, yet impressively loud despite their tiny size. It takes a second for me to realize that they are addressing me.
I'm sorry. I'm not your queen. I'm just an ordinary human.
A human? Ordinary? Don't think so.
They crowd in a little bit closer, their fingers grabbing the empty air as if to pick me up and carry me away. I take a step backwards, the Abigail still holding tight to my arm, but the fairies just creep in even closer. Their wings beat hummingbird fast, distractingly loud.
I promise, I'm just a regular person. You're mistaken if you think I'm your queen.
A mistake? Have you seen her? We've been looking.
We haven't seen her. We haven't seen anything like her.
I have no idea what a fairy queen looks like, but I'm sure I haven't seen anything that fits the description. Could the fairy queen be Celadura?
How long has she been missing?
It's hard to say. Did you know? Time is a human concept.
The answers aren't helpful at all. They at least understood my question, which means they have some knowledge of time. It doesn't make a difference though. The rest of their swarm has moved on, the buzzing fading once again, but they don't seem bothered. What are like other options? Like the fairy queen could be Morgan because she sent some signals, I guess, by burning the tree.
If we see her, I'll be sure to tell her you're looking.
That won't be needed. She surely knows. That's why she's our queen.
I'm not quite following, but oh well. The fairy's peculiar way of speaking in turn is almost comical. Since they haven't left us alone yet, I assume that they are still expecting or hoping for something. I'm a little afraid to find out what.
Do the three of you have names?
We don't. We have no need. Names are for humans too.
They all nod in unison, given how everything else about them seems to be insect-like. I just assume that they have a hive mind of sorts. It would fit with everything else I know about the forest. I'm getting a bit tired of all the different networks and connections. It's silly, but it feels a little like not knowing the password to a friend's Wi-Fi. To help keep them straight in my mind, I give each of them a name. The one with the purple flower is Hi. Anan has the blonde hair, and the last one is Freya. The Hi is mosquito in Japanese, I think. So whoop. Beside me, Abigail tugs at my sleeve surreptitiously or something. She's angled away from the conversation, trying to lead me out of it. I turn back to the fairies, putting on my best customer service voice.
We have to go now. It was nice to meet you. I hope you're able to find your queen soon.
I don't want to turn my back on them, so I wait for them to say their farewells and leave, but instead they come in even closer, causing Abigail to gasp.
Don't go! What if you stayed? You could be our queen?
Not sure if it's that easy. Can't they just name one of them as the queen?
You would do!
Or at least they aren't picky, I guess.
We could make it so. It would be easy.
Alarm bells ringing in my head. I start to step backwards, with Abigail keeping right on me.
There isn't anyone else. Not everyone is suitable. But you are. Let us show you what it'd be like. We can give you a taste. Would that be all right?
The buzzing and flittering slows as 3 pairs of eyes stare at us. Abigail squeezes my arm. I move my mouth to say no, but the way their gaze pierces into me roots me to the spot. Like tiny dancers adorned with glitter, their skin shimmers in the low light, filtering through the clouds.
Madison, come on, let's go.
But I can't, or rather, I don't want to. Not yet.
What if I know something useful, Abigail?
We know lots of things. Secret things, clever things. We can know you, too.
They are pests. The buzzing is a little too loud, and the voices a little too shrill, but
You don't belong here. We can tell. But wouldn't you like to belong?
they creep a little bit closer in a synchronized motion. They are close enough now that I could reach out and grab one if I wanted to, or slap them away. I don't know. A place to belong. Could they really offer that?
What exactly do you mean?
I can feel Abigail's grip tighten around my coat, but she doesn't say anything. Sensing an opening, the fairies circle dizzyingly around our heads.
The forest doesn't reject you. But it doesn't accept you either. We could change that, though. Whatever it is you want! Whatever you're searching for, if you help us. Would you like that?
With a jolt, I turn to face Abigail, and sure she knows what I'm thinking. Whatever I want, there's only one thing. Freedom. Abigail stares back at me for a moment, and then presses herself against me. Looking up at the fairies, I nod.
Okay, just a taste.
Just a taste. Excited, they dive downwards until they are level with my face. Abigail cringes, but doesn't let go. As one, the fairies close in, placing their hands on my face like they are checking my temperature. Their hands are frigid, painfully so. It's amplified by the fact that I haven't felt cold in days. My hands jerk upwards out of instinct, ready to pry them away, but I don't. Then one of the fairies moves their hands to cover my lips. One covers my ears, and the other covers my eyes. For a split second, I feel like I'm falling through the air. And then it all hits me.
All I see is black. I'm alone. And yet, hundreds of presences flood my consciousness all at once. I can tell they're the fairies, but I don't know how I can tell. I'm bombarded by their awareness like tiny darts, not using words or thoughts or intentions, but just feeling. They're somehow distant, as if behind a wall, but so present. I try to find the semi-familiar presences of Hey, Frio, and Anon, but they're indistinguishable from the rest. There's no individuality, no sense of identity at all. They're just the fairies as a whole. But I can feel what they're feeling. Panic and anger and hurt all churned together. The feeling of being lost, of not knowing where to go or what to do, but not being able to sit still. Though I can't tie it to any particular memory or event, the feeling hits me so strongly, so undiluted that I think I might cry. I can feel that they've been scared by something, but I don't know what that something is. Then, at last, I feel a nudge within my mind. The sensation of being noticed. The presence takes me in, welcoming me. It occurs to me that I no longer exist. I try to ask what's going on, but I don't need to. The moment the question forms, the presence with me starts to answer. Images play in my head, ones I've never seen before. They're grainy like an old film. If I try to focus on a particular detail, the whole thing becomes muddy. I can see flames burning away at the forest. The fire is so real that I can almost feel its warmth. But when I start to focus on it, that too vanishes. The presence of the fairies weighs on my mind, an uninvited audience to the next part. I can see a fairy stumbling alone, but something's wrong with it. I realize instantly, I can't feel its presence. Where it should be, there's just a gaping hole, so vast and profound that it hurts by sheer exclusion. It's agonizing. I want to tear my heart out of my chest so I don't have to feel it anymore. The presence of the fairies, the whole nest, tries to reach out after it and fill the hole, but it won't allow itself to be touched. The moonlight overhead, which I crave, falls onto the lone fairy who hastens to escape it. The lone fairy flees, and the rest of them, the rest of us mourn. One word pulses through my head, both a condemnation and reassurance. One word, though I don't know what it means. Moonsick, 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 moonsick. The vision twists, and I can see a woman. But she isn't a woman. She's also a fairy, but not just. I'm so happy and relieved to see her that I just know she's the fairy queen. I can feel how much she misses the lone fairy. I know, because I miss her too. Desperately. I can see her searching, her hope never fading, until one day, she's gone. The loss is even greater this time. A sick mixture of guilt and shame plagues me, because I don't know where she is. I don't even know how long she's been missing. How could I have not noticed? The loneliness is so great that I want to do anything to erase it. Another silhouette flickers, just out of sight, but I can't keep track of it. We all have to watch it together, and then I realize it's me. But just like the fairy queen I saw before, it's also not me. Visions of time pass, months, years, centuries, and throughout all of them, all of the loneliness is gone. It all feels right. I could fix this.
The fairies removed their hands from me, and I burst back into the real world with a mighty gasp for air.
Madison, are you alright?
The fairies dart back up, away from the furious glare that Abigail gives them. All I can feel now is her hand clutching me, and I put my arm on her shoulder for support. My head spins, and for a second I think I might fall over. The DC spell passes soon. Once I'm confident I'm not going to collapse, I nod.
I'm fine. How long was I out?
Abigail's face flickers into a look of confusion. She presses her hand to my forehead.
Out? I didn't think they'd even begun.
What?
I watch the fairies struggling to comprehend how so much could have happened in an instant like that. There's no way.
We told you, didn't we? We aren't bound by time. Join us and you won't be either. Now that you've seen, and now that you've felt, will you join us?
Eyes wide, Abigail looks up at me. She doesn't have to say anything for me to know she's begging me to decline. I wish she could have felt how warm it was, how nice it was to belong like that. Yet, at the same time, I feel like a distant dream now. It feels like a distant dream now. Something detached and fading. I try to remember the sensation, but I can't. It's water slipping through my fingers. It seemed so real, but it wasn't. It was only a second. I can't sign my life away to the fairies for 1 second of visions, no matter how right it felt, no matter how comfortable. I'm sure that I was just seeing what they wanted me to see. I smile at Abigail and then shake my head, rejecting the fairies.
I'm sorry, but I can't. Thank you for showing me what it would be like, though.
How can we persuade you? We need our queen soon. You could be our only hope.
I know you do. But I'm sorry. That just can't be me.
We hope you'll change your mind. We'll be waiting for you. We'll be waiting for a queen.
With that, they turned tail and darted off in the same direction that their swarm had gone. Soon, all trace of them is gone, like they'd never even been there.
Madison, are you sure you're all right?
Yeah, I'm sure. It was just a lot. Was that really that fast?
Yes, they touched your face and then a moment later you gasped.
That's insane. It felt like a long time. Like years had passed.
Abigail looks troubled, staring off into the forest where the fairies disappeared.
Fairy magic is strange and beyond me. They're similar to the forest spirit, and yet...
No, hopefully not as dead.
Different, but in a way you can't put into words.
That's right. You certainly did see a lot, didn't you?
Yeah, I guess so. Have you ever met their queen? Or seen what she looks like?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure either the queen or the last fairy is Geladura.
Just once, long ago. She and the forest spirit are both guardians of the forest. Did you see her in your vision?
I think back to what I saw, as best as I can remember. Image shifts and shakes in my head, not wanting to be called to mind. More than what she looked like, I just remember how I felt. So happy and relieved to see her.
I did, but I didn't get a clear look at her. I knew who she was, but I don't know if I'd recognize her if I passed her on the street.
But she looked like a squid or something. That should be an easy shape to recognize.
Do you think you could mistake me for her, like they did?
Absolutely not. You're much prettier than she is.
Rip Geladura. Abigail says it very matter-of-factly, as if she didn't just give me an enormous compliment. And she carries on like it too. Be still my beating heart. I guess the fairy queen is like in Zelda, like the fairy queen.
But to the fairies, I expect it's hard for them to tell the difference between humans. So maybe you looked like her to them.
I wonder how long the queen's been gone. It seems like they'd been coping just fine without her, until something happened to scare them.
I think Geladura still fits the bill. Like, I don't think she has existed for 200 years or more, it makes sense that Abigail has seen the queen in the original form, and then like the queen has disappeared after that.
Something like what?
Something hot and bright, something burning, something that hurt to think about. No, the tree burning, I guess.
I don't know. I think it had to do with fire, maybe? So much of what I saw felt real, but most of it wasn't.
Fire.
Yuri creases her face.
What's wrong? Did you remember something?
No, it was just a thought.
Yes, surely the forest spirit could not have burned by any means. Rather than elaborate, she fidgets with her hands. I don't push this subject.
Maybe that's enough fresh air for today. We can head back to the church.
All right.
I'm pretty sure I detect a hint of relief in her voice. For the first time, I lead the way home. At least I hope it's the way. I'm reasonably confident. At my side, Abigail remains quiet and lost in her thoughts. With one hand, she clings limply to my sleeve, trusting my navigation. I don't disturb her, instead concentrating on remembering the path. It's to challenge myself. I'm sure that if necessary, Abigail would be able to lead us home from anywhere. Still, I'm beginning to fear that I have led us astray when the grim walls of the church start to come into view. A mixture of relief and pride flows through me. It's also a little bittersweet. I have come to think of the church as home, even though I never felt that way about the cabin. Despite the fact that the concept of home is just a formality. Now, surrounding ourselves with walls and roof doesn't change a whole lot. Clouds are beginning to settle overhead, muting the daylight and making everything murky. It feels fitting for the mood. Abigail speeds up a bit as we reach the doors, and she is the first one inside. She sits down on one of the benches, fatigued.
Mind if I join you?
I gesture at the open spot beside her.
Please do.
Wordlessly, she rests her head against my shoulder.
Headache still?
She nods.
I'm afraid so. Our encounter there sure didn't help.
I'm sure.
They gave me a headache of sorts too, more of a notion that I can't get out of my head. The Pharisee's outstanding offer sits with me. As hard as I try, I can't fully push the idea away. If there isn't any other way out of this, then maybe being a fairy queen would be preferable to just being a normal ghost, as long as I could still have Abigail with me. I kinda doubt, so. That's a last resort though, because for as long as I can, I have to hold out hope that things can just go back to normal, that Tara and I can leave Eisenfeld the same way we arrived, and that we can take Abigail with us. Beside me, Abigail shifts her head just a little.
I'm sorry. Am I bothering you like this?
Not at all.
I wonder if she's close enough to hear my heart beating. Maybe it can't always be like this, but just for now, it's alright. Well, let me drink a little bit because it's going to be a little reading. Yeah, it is. It is a bit of a roller coaster, I guess, this chapter. And they haven't even gotten to the point that he realized that the spirit is gone. Although it's been a couple days since we met the fairies and they made the offer, I haven't been able to get it out of my head. The visions themselves are just slush by now, with the memories of them having eroded into non-existence. But the feelings remain. The feeling of belonging and of freedom. There's something else I can't get out of my head though, and she's sitting right beside me.
Madison, here they come.
Sure enough, a mother deer and her fawn come traipsing out of the bushes, no doubt on their way to get a drink. Starlight and the waxing moon make them look like ghosts at first, barely visible in the dusk. Upon entering the clearing, they see us, and both freeze. Abigail smiles encouragingly, reaching out a hand towards them. After a moment's hesitation, the fawn takes one tentative step toward us, then another and another.
This one's name is Alma.
Hello, Alma.
I greet it the same way I would greet my friend's dog or cat. Deciding we are not a threat, the mother deer goes to the pond while the baby one creeps even closer. Abigail never moves towards it, never pushing too far. Then it nuzzles her hand, leaning into the soft, scratching motion of her fingers.
Is this the deer that was watching you sing the other day?
Most likely. Alma's a little bit shy and sometimes prefers to keep her space.
You know this deer pretty well, huh?
Of course, we're very good friends.
To demonstrate, she strokes Alma's tawny neck. She doesn't even have to sit up to do so, since the fawn's face is just about level with her shoulders from where we are sitting on the ground. Alma closes her eyes, clearly enjoying the attention.
Would you like to pet her? I'm certain she'd let you.
Sure.
I lean forward, my hand outstretched like Abigail's was. But the second I move, Alma's eyes go wide and she bounds away into the darkness. Her mother watches, alarmed, from the shoreline.
Guess not.
Alma, come back! I promise Madison won't hurt you. She's just as sweet as you are.
I'm glad for the darkness and that she can't see me blush while she's not looking. I scoot a little bit closer to Abigail, just a bit. The hanging fairy baubles help to illuminate the young deer, who watches from a safe distance. None of the fairies themselves seem to be around, though. It takes a bit, with Abigail and I both sitting silently, but the fawn chooses to come back after all. Her steps are still reluctant and ready to dart away at any second. She lets Abigail pet her, but watches me warily while it happens. I don't mind. I'm content to just watching and enjoy seeing how happy it makes them both.
How long have you known Alma? It must have been a while for her to trust you like this.
Oh yes, I've known her for her whole life. And I've known her mother since she was small too.
Abigail waves at the mother deer by the pond, who's returned to sitting her test.
That's amazing.
I can only imagine the patience, time, and dedication it must have taken to earn the trust of the woodland creatures. Still, all things considered, I'm not surprised that they'd make an exception for someone like Abigail. She exudes comfort. I'm not sure how else to describe it, and I have certainly never felt anything like it before. Maybe being close to her is just as comforting for the deer as it is for me.
Do you have any other animal friends that I'll get to meet?
Oh, certainly, if you'd like. I'm sure Mr. Bearer is asleep for the season, but perhaps once he wakes up. There are also a pack of wolves around, but for Alma's sake, that would be best left to another time.
The deer nuzzles her hand in agreement, and Abigail coos contentedly at it.
None are quite so friendly as Alma and the rest of the deer, though. When I was a child, I wanted to have a deer for a pet. I thought that perhaps I could learn to ride one, like a horse.
That would be a wild ride, I guess.
My sister and I would look for footprints in the snow and track them for as long as we could.
She looks up at me, smiling despite the melancholy tone her voice has taken on.
We never got very far, of course. Hardly a few feet into the forest. But to children like us, it was quite an adventure.
You must miss her a lot.
Abigail hardly ever mentions her family. I imagine that despite how long it's been, the memories must still be painful. She smiles thinly.
In a sense.
The deer is still luxuriating under her caress. Her hand moves rhythmically and gently, alternating between petting and scratching Alma's neck. She relaxes a little, resting against my side, but continuing to pet the deer.
More than anything, I think I miss the days of wonder and awe, back when the forest and all of its creatures were still a mystery. Sometimes I wish it could be like that again, that it could be unknown.
You wish that you hadn't met them?
No, not at all. At least, not given the circumstances. I'm quite grateful for the companionship they've given me. For so many years, they've been one of the few sources of company that I've had. But while my love for them has never diminished, I've come to the conclusion that it's grown to the most it can grow as well. That's simply what the world had become for me. A small world of gnomes, and nothing more.
She looks away from the deer and back at me. A few tears spot her face, but she doesn't look sad. In fact, she's beaming.
And then I met you, Madison.
The moonlight frames her face. The lovely night sky, the fairy tale friendly deer, the ethereal woman. It's an image straight out of a painting.
You were my first unknown in countless years. The first soul I could speak with that I didn't yet understand. And what a wonderful unknown you turned out to be.
I'm frozen again. I never had anyone say anything that sweet to me. How am I supposed to respond to something like that? I try to calm my heart as it hammers in my chest. Looking at her soft expression only serves to accelerate its rhythm.
Thank you. That's really, really sweet.
Panic.
I think you're wonderful too.
Her free hand darts out to grab mine before I have a chance to react. As her eyes widen even more, nearly startling the deer away.
Do you really mean that, Madison?
I really do. You're an incredible person. I can't imagine having to go through what you've been through without losing any sort of capacity for joy. But here you are, still so full of energy and positivity. I hope that I can maintain that sort of optimism.
Just you wait until you realize what happened to the spirit. Abigail lets go of the deer and flings her arms around me in a tight hug. It's pretty awkward position because of how we are sitting together, but I don't mind. I hug her back as best as I can. My own anchor in the storm of chaos that my life has become. Indignant, Alma sticks her ears back and darts off towards the trees again. Without letting me go, Abigail cranes her neck to watch, this time not calling the deer back. Alma's mother bounds over to join her daughter, and they both go careening off. I lean my head down to rest against Abigail's in what's become a familiar position. When did we get so comfortable with each other? Being like this just feels natural. She parts from me after a moment, sitting up straight again. She tilts her head up to look at the stars, and I gaze with her. The night is mostly clear, except for a few wispy clouds. All is still and quiet and calm. Even the pains of the forest don't seem to reach us here.
I wouldn't call myself an optimist.
I blink, surprised by her sudden words.
I don't, nor have I ever really had much hope. There are small comforts and delights, but those aren't the same thing as hope. I can remember names and faces, and even dreams and aspirations that I once had. But do you know what the most curious part of it is?
She glances at me, and I notice tears in her eyes. Without thinking, I reach up and brush them away. No reaction. My heart pounds in my chest, nervous about something that I can't identify, or that maybe I'm unwilling to accept, afraid to be wrong about.
What is it?
I can't remember how it felt for those dreams to be within reach. Even with my meager, lonely existence, there was still a chance. As unlikely as it would have been, there was always the possibility that someday something would change. Something might happen. There was a light, so to speak, to look forward to. And the day that I died, that light went out.
Ah. More tears, replacing the ones that I wiped away, sparkle in her eyes. I move to repeat the motion from before. This time she stops my hand, holding them in her own between us.
I never gave thought to what this unlife might be keeping me from. Not from the life I left behind, but whatever it is I would have been met with had I lived to the end of my days. For a long time, I considered myself lucky that I was free from hurt and pain and worry and loss. Even if they were predictable and boring, my years here in the forest haven't been unpleasant. But I've never been optimistic. I've never had anything to look forward to. Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine meeting someone as perfect as you. Never did I imagine that I would be happy again.
I understand. I know what she's saying, and more importantly, what she means. A shiver runs down my spine.
But Madison, I don't deserve this happiness. Not at the cost of your own. I keep thinking how if I'd been a bit faster, or more decisive, perhaps I could have saved you that day in the snow. And that even if not, I don't know what future I've stolen from you. I don't know what awaits those of us who pass on. All I know is this unlife and its permanence, and the way that you deserved better.
She's crying now, fully. Her chest heaves into a sob, and I pull her closer to me, in as tight a hug as I can manage. As kindly and delicately as I can, as gently as she always treats me, I hold her and sway gently, as much as our position will allow. I can tell, just from the way she cries, that she's been holding this in for a long, long time. I let her let it all out. It must have hurt so bad to be feeling this way. I speak in a whisper.
It's not your fault at all. Don't ever blame yourself for any of this. I know I don't.
He's an unparade of good CGs.
Ever since we met, that day in the forest clearing, all you've done is made things better for me. I don't know if I ever told you this, but during those first days after we met, seeing you again was all that I would look forward to. I'd go to bed thinking about you, and wake up the next morning thinking about you. And as for everything else, to be honest, I don't know how to feel about a lot of it. So much of it is just hard to process. I thought that it would get easier with time, but it hasn't. But there is one thing I know. One thing that I'm absolutely sure of.
I squeeze her hand, and I see her startle just a bit. No matter what I'm missing out on, I'm sure I'd rather be here with you. I mean it, every word of it. I had never really put too much thought into an afterlife, or anything like that, but any time spent here with Abigail is time well spent. And if that means eternity, then, well, so be it. Beside me, Abigail gazes into my eyes wondrously. Her lips move as she searches for the words she wants to say.
Madison.
She shifts so that the starlight caresses her face, perfect and yet not nearly as luminous as she is.
May I kiss you?
For once in my life, I don't overthink it.
Yes.
Yes. Her eyelids flutter and close. Her breathing trembles, then steadies. I empty my head of any other thoughts. And I press my lips to hers. So soft and so warm, as delicate as the fresh fallen snow, as sweet as cotton candy. Her form shivers against me, and I place an arm around her for support and for comfort, mutually. I can feel her getting more confident and more relaxed as 200 years of loneliness are melted away by one by one, and we are left as just two souls sharing a first kiss under the night sky. It feels so right that after we have both been through so much sadness and loss, that we are now able to share this moment of joy. Not just share it, but to be able to offer it to each other. It's our light at the end of the tunnel. When we finally part, my lips still feel electrified. She regards me with a coy expression, but a happy one.
That was even more wonderful than the many times I had imagined it.
I hope it was worth the wait.
I'd wait another 200 years if it was the only way I'd get to kiss you again.
Well, let's hope it won't take that long.
I promise. You won't have to.
To prove it, I lean forward and give her another quick peck on the lips. Abigail leans against my side yet again. We have done this several times before, but it's never felt like this. It's never felt this right. Everything feels a little bit brighter now. Alright, let's call it here, I guess. I don't mind the good vibes for the night. It was a wild ride, but also a really sweet ride. Really, really great stuff. Really nice way to end the week. So yeah, that is it for today, I guess. Yeah, thank you for watching and everything, and well, let's play this again next week. It was a lot of fun. Not sure if next week will be as happy in terms of the game, but I don't mind. It is a lot of fun. Anyway, yeah. Thank you for watching and see you. Bye bye.